Week two, here we go. So we're 2 weeks in officially, and update. So from the week before, I was supposed to increase my volume of work. I was supposed to work Saturday. I was supposed to increase my hours. Now, what happened was, well, a couple things. I really struggled to actually implement all of the things. I'll be honest. Uh, I did increase my hours by an hour per day, but there just wasn't enough sales calls on the calendar to fill the time. So I ended up trying to do some more outbound work myself. It's like calling people, self-genning. Because essentially with the sales process, if I don't have calls on my calendar, I have to create calls on my calendar, which is a lot of output. Now, because of that, what I was doing was procrastinating on it. Horrible, horrible thing to say. I did make 4 sales. So in terms of where I was at last week, I made 4 sales. I took 8 sales calls, so the quality of the calls and the conversion was really good, but it just wasn't enough calls. That's the main issue. Because really I needed about the 10. In terms of the output was better than the week prior. Instead of doing, an hour and a half of call time, which is approximately about 3 hours of extra work, I did about 6 hours of extra work, which is about 3 hours of call time, alongside closing, obviously. But I did also take less closing calls. So overall, I've essentially missed the mark again. I have done more work in terms of the output, but it's been a real challenge. And oh, it just feels super overwhelming. It feels like my goal is here, my level of action is here, and for some reason, I just can't seem to be able to perform here. And to be honest, it just feels like it just feels super overwhelming, like super overwhelming. I wake up and I have like 6 things on my to-do list. I like to wake up every day and meditate for an hour. I like to do some kind of stocks investing for about an hour as well, just to get those things out the way. Because for me, that stuff is important to do. Like the meditation really calms my mind. It's like if I don't do that, then I'm more neurotic. I'm more stressed. Like my day's generally more all over the place. So it's like I want to keep these things. And like my gym in the evenings, like I want to keep these things. But in a day when I have no sales calls and it's getting like to 6, 7 p.m., I'm like, well, my work technically finishes at 9. I don't really have anything to do, at least that I have to do. So instead of, making sales calls, I'm like sitting there thinking, should I learn some Spanish? Should I go to the gym? Should I maybe do some investing? Is this the right company to work for? And it's a lot of these thoughts that are like filling my mind. So instead of just focusing on the work, taking sales calls, getting into momentum, I'm like thinking about all of these different things. So I don't want to get rid of these things yet. I want to keep learning Spanish. I want to keep meditating. I want to keep investing. And I've always had this all or nothing mentality where I have to just do one thing and nothing else, and everything else just atrophies. Like I'm just gonna study, and then I become like completely out of shape. And I think that's good in the sense that you can get one thing done at a really high level, but like long term, I want to have other skills and other things that I'm good at. So I'm not quite ready yet to let go of all of these things. So what I'm thinking to do is to optimize before I remove. So essentially, I'm gonna still keep all of these things in my schedule, but I'm gonna very clearly schedule them in. And I think a lot of the time when I do feel overwhelmed is because I am making these decisions. So scheduling it helps, making the decision helps, and then from there, eliminating things like social media. So like I'm taking my phone and my other phone, any phone that has social media, I'm putting in the cupboard, and I'm gonna not look at either of them for 2 days, Monday, Tuesday. I'm not gonna aimlessly scroll through YouTube. I'm literally gonna wake up, gonna meditate, gonna do the investing. I'm not gonna spend an hour on the phone with my friend just because he texted me that he wants some help with something, which is not time sensitive. Because I got my own goals that I got to accomplish every day. And if I get behind on those, that's when I start to feel overwhelmed. Even like today, I didn't want to film this video. I woke up maybe 5 hours ago, Spent an hour meditating, made breakfast, ate some food. Should have done the investing, didn't. Felt bad about not doing it. Watched more YouTube, procrastinated more. 3 hours later, I'm like, shit, okay, like this video needs to get done, so let's just do it, which is why I'm here. But that's the same kind of procrastination loop that fucks up my sales calls, that fucks up fucks everything up. My sales calls, my investing, my dating life. It's just a lot of thinking and processing as opposed to just taking action. And I'm a very neurotic person, so like for me, this is one of the hardest things to work through. And that's why it's so much easier to just have one thing to do. I don't have to wake up and have to do like three things. It's like you wake up and you're either on a sales call or you're trying to get on a sales call. It's like that simplicity is what makes things so easy for me when it comes to sales, for example. Now, in the same sense, I want to have that simplicity, but I also want to be able to do multiple things. Like I live in South America, I'd love to learn Spanish. Meditation. I need to meditate. I need to have this calmness of my mind because otherwise it just screams at me constantly. Gym. I need to go to the gym because physiologically I feel like shit if I don't. So I'm not willing to get rid of these things. I'm going to optimize. I'm going to cut down on distractions so that I can get more out of my time. And yeah, we'll see. If I can't, I'm not gonna ever get rid of all of these things. I think I'm gonna just have to cut them down. So instead of doing an hour of meditation, maybe I'll do 60. But I'm gonna see how this week goes. And really my plan is to essentially cut out social media for the next like 2-3 days, focus on the work. Um, I want more output in my, sales calls when I'm not on actual closing calls. So I'm gonna create a list of people today that I can reach out to on Monday, assuming that I have calls that don't show up. And I think with that, I want to see the kinds of results I'm going to be getting differently moving forward in this following week. Right, so I'm still shooting for the 10 sales. I know the last week I hit 4. This week I'm gunning for the 10. Okay, so those are the slight changes that I'm going to be making, and hopefully it'll have a pretty big impact on the following week of sales calls.